JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Friday, February 13th. Friday the 13th, 9:18. Really quick rant, talk about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. January CPI data came in line, mostly in line, month over month, uh, in line year over year, down about a tenth of percent. So nothing to write home about, right? I almost thought that we'd be a little higher here on the futures, and future kind of flat. S&P's down like a 0.05%. So nothing, no crazy move. There was a little move higher after the data came out, but I thought it'd be a bigger reaction. So maybe this is baked in, and now we're going to see if the market, what happens here today. So yesterday, markets headed higher at the open, tested highs about 9:45, and then there's no news, no catalyst, no event. It just buyers disappeared, and then sellers took control. Within an hour, we went from 693 on the SPY all the way down to 682, somewhere in there, right? Um, Bounced around into the afternoon, couldn't any bounce was sold, and that was it, right? Um, I always look at silver linings. So the good thing yesterday is yields ticked down, right? So good to see yields going down. I don't want to see yields spiking and markets falling. That probably would not be ingredients for a market to bounce. And there were still some signs of strength in the market. And a lot of them, the retail side of things, names that have been strong, like the John Deere's, obviously the memory space, the SanDisk, the Seagate. So despite the pull, some of those names were strong. And then you saw some of the names in the software space, which have been getting destroyed. And Oracle was green for most of the day till the afternoon. Yet ServiceNow was in the green. Adobe, which is red for most of the day, that bounced into the green. So is it the sign that maybe we're near a bottom in some of these indiscriminate sell-offs that we've seen in some of the names? Possibly. Is it a sign that maybe earnings start to matter again? I don't know. We'll see. Yesterday was AppLovin, right? That monster earnings, and that one sold off. The day before was Shopify. After close yesterday was Roku, right? And I've been looking to get Roku calls like I always do. 16% implied move, monster beat like they always do. It's always a monster beat and raise, monster numbers, monster margin numbers. Every data point they had was above expectations and bullish. Even had the perma bear on the name Rosenblatt, who's been bearish on Roku forever. Upgrade the stock this morning. It's up like 15% to pre-market, but the option market's kind of pricing that in. And then it's always in a situation where it's sell the gap. Every move in earnings has been sold off. It's like so frustrates the heck out of me. But one of these won't be the case, right? Because at some point Roku's a cash cow, because it's not like they're just selling their hardware anymore. They're pretty much a platform monetization company. That's what they do, right? Not some analysts this morning saying their service is not something that AI just goes and disrupts. So that's another kind of a bullish point, you would say. It's not something that really succumbs to the folks saying, "Oh, I can create a program that monetizes ad space on Roku's platform." It's just there's not really much that you can do, right? It's a content consuming platform, so people who continue consume content on digital media, on TVs, things like that. Roku's the platform of choice to use that. So unless someone creates a platform that is able to, integrate all those different streaming services and things like that, at Roku's place is going to be dominant, and it continues to be dominant. And it's not like people are going to stop streaming content because of AI. So anyway, not rants for other days. I'll be watching Roku at the open. If it finds some footing and holds the gains at 95.96, and looks like it's going to trade to triple digits, I might look for some calls. I'll probably be less apt to get lottos and get some strikes into next week. But fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I've been fooled plenty of times on Roku trying to chase some of these earnings moves. So me, like I do on some of these stocks, I see Roku $130, $140 stock, if not higher now with its earnings. Market says nope, you're a $95 stock. So maybe that changes today. All right, so that's Roku. That's the SPY. So today on the SPY, I keep talking about this 676 on the SPY, right? So it's not it's not inverted head and shoulders or whatever pattern you want to call it. But I mean, you take a look back at the start in January, came all the way down to 676 and bounced. 6 sessions ago, down to 676 and bounce. If we get selling at the open and we get down to 676 and that doesn't hold, I'm not saying I'm going to go get my bomb shelter ready and get on my bear suit, but I'm probably going to be getting some puts into next week. All right, so that's overall markets, and then take a look at the 10-year. Finally, some signs that maybe it's going to continue to head downward. Also, next week there's not much in the way of earnings. I think Walmart, some other names. I mean, there's a lot of earnings, nothing crazy. SolarEdge reports. All right, so that's overall market. All right, so just quick on individual names. Envy's, right? Great timing on my calls. I put in a watch list, sarcasm. If you can sense my sarcasm, every gap and run up in the morning, similar to what Roku has had on earnings, gets sold off. Did it again on Wednesday, and then sure enough, Friday just got decimated, down 8%. Trading like it's a software stock, right? It's anything but a software stock, but when it has a high short interest, shorts take advantage of the situation. Like I said, Solar Edge reports next week. Maybe that's the next spark in the solar sector. So not going to any more strikes today. Maybe next week, unless there's some kind of catalyst. So that's Enphase. Serve Robotics. I mean, you look at the chart, doesn't look nasty. Well, it does look nasty from its pull, but considering the last couple sessions, 975 is the big spot there. You know my thoughts here. If the markets find footing, that's one that's going to eventually start to resume its uptrend. Frustrating to watch that one the last couple of days. And then some other names I've been playing on downside, right? Adobe, riddle me that. The one that finally is green yesterday, and that's the one I had the puts on the day before. They were actually getting close to being green yesterday, and then we had the reversal. So I'll continue to look for opportunities. If the sell off in software is not done, some of these names are going to, like I said, indiscriminate. They're going to just completely disconnected to any kind of fundamentals. So if that's the case, you can see some of these names. Adobe, was it going to go to $200? ServiceNow, $80. Intuit down to $300. Those are things you got to kind of think outside the box, because if you can think outside the box, then those moves happen. The puts aren't pricing that move in. So obviously that's how to make money. Intuit, speaking of Intuit, I mean, take a look at this bloodbath. Nothing's really changed, and folks realizing that their software is easily replaced, right? So yeah, all right, not Rants for other days. So that's Intuit. I'm trying to think of some of the other names. Oh, Moderna reported earnings this morning. It's not really an earnings name. At least I mean, I had a name I really traded for earnings. I was looking at the implied moves yesterday. It was like muted, 3, 4, 5% moves. It's actually up 5% here in the pre-market, and it's running here at highs. That could be a squeeze name, especially you look at all its the studies that's going to come out this year. It's like you kind of want to be ahead of those studies when they get released. So missed a bounce last on that dip after the FDA nixed their I don't know if it was a filing or some to that effects, but here it is, $43. That could be a lotto here today. And then last but not least, the financials, right? Thursday I was talking, Wednesday in the afternoon, I'm like, financials are weak. Then yesterday I'm watching JP Morgan down another 3%. It's like sometimes these moves happen. There's something going on behind the scenes, right? And you see JP Morgan's down to $300 here. Is there something else going on? So I got those puts yesterday just because inexpensive premiums, if there's some follow through on the CPI or what have you, could offer a decent hedge. And here it is down to $300. If they're selling at the open, I might look for some more strikes and/or look at, Goldman Sachs had one of their lawyers leave because of Epstein. I don't know if that's going to have weakness on the stock, but could be just a catalyst. People use an excuse to sell a stock. That could be. But when I was getting the JP Morgan puts, I was actually looking at Goldman Sachs, but the puts are insane. I think it was $900 to $800. You have to play for like a 7% move. But all right, let's have a great day. Oh, Reddit. Kicking myself for not getting some spec calls. It was 131. It closed sitting here at 140. That could be a gap and go here today. Let's have a great day, folks. I'll be back. Rock and roll.